Hello, well, it's me again for my 5-minute short video about all things lighting. So today I'm going to be talking about correlated color temperature, CCT. And as always, please share and let us know what you think. Share as widely as you can to share the knowledge, and then we can start a conversation and talk about it. We actually have a white paper that we have written on this topic in fine detail, and you can download it here. But of course, for a quick synopsis, these are what these 5-minute videos are for. So, correlated color temperature, CCT, is basically, in a nutshell, what kind of color the lighting is. So the lower you go down in K, the Kelvin temperature, and the higher you go will depend on whether you have a sort of a yellow, orangey mood light, or goes all the way to kind of white, almost blue light. And the normal temperature that we use as a scale today runs from about 2300 Kelvin, 2300, 2700. That's kind of your indoor yellow light, mood lighting, which you might install in your living room, to 5700, which is used for professional stadiums, which is a very white light, almost turning a little bit blue, to even 6000, 6500, which starts to look almost blue-purple. So, and everything in the middle is kind of the range. Now, typically for infrastructure, we use 5000 Kelvin. That's Midstream's first choice of light, and we think that is the best light for an industrial application. It's sharp enough to ensure that people can see clearly, but also it doesn't create a relaxing mood as you would get from a much more yellow, much more mellow light. Some countries, however, have mandates that are different. So, for example, in France, now there is a law which requires you to use 3000 Kelvin. It's kind of an orange-yellow light. And of course, despite the fact that it might have a high color rendering index, the yellow versus green can sort of make some colors difficult to see. Other countries prefer 5700. Many countries in the Middle East prefer that level. So that's very white, very blue. Whereas the 5000, which we typically recommend, is more like daylight color, natural daylight. In sports, what we see actually is kind of a move towards the 4000 Kelvin. That's more of a warm light in between the sharper 5000 Kelvin and the 3000 Kelvin. And I think we can have a little guide come up on the screen to show you actually visually what that looks like. Now, apart from just the feel, we know that light color temperature acts differently on our eyes and the rods and the cones in our eyes, and so it can regulate our mood quite strongly. And you've heard about things like the circadian rhythm. So all of that basically goes down to the fact that more white light, it creates a higher level of a different neurostimulant, and that allows you to become more active. It allows you to become more alert, whereas the yellow light actually creates a different type of neurostimulant, one which makes you more relaxed and one that makes you calmer. So the yellow light is actually quite good for areas of relaxation, the white light for areas which require a high level of alertness. Now, if you think about this before you go to bed and you use a mobile phone, it's recommended to get rid of the blue, the peaks of blue in the screen, and so it all looks a bit more yellow. Well, that's actually before bed, before sleeping, taking out that peak of blue, which is quite prevalent in the 5000 and 6000, the 5700 Kelvin, that takes that out to give you the ability to create melatonin and be ready to start to go to sleep. So actually, in fact, if you are operating something, an airport, or if you're playing football, if you are unloading containers, we think it's better to have that heightened alert status that is associated with the 5000, 6000 Kelvin arriving from the peak of the blue light. So anyway, to learn more about it, please read our very, very dedicated and very detailed guide that talks about all the different neurostimulants that you can find in there and how they affect your mood and your body, and give us feedback if you like it, and if you disagree. We'd like to hear whatever your opinion is. Thank you very much.